This is me. You might be wondering how we got here. So I decided, randomly one day, I was about to cook something, got a new camera, why not just film it? Don't script it, don't plan, don't even make the recipe before you even try this. Just put the camera on, point and shoot. And we learned some lessons. We set the fire alarm off. I'm making soup. But we set the fire alarm off. I tried to run to turn it off. My microphone has a cord, and the cord wiped a bunch of stuff off the table. I then grabbed the dog's blanket to try and wave the smoke away from the smoke detector. The dog starts going nuts, thinking she wants to play with the bloody blanket. It finally goes off, but the smoke detector is just next to the stairs. So as I was wafting it, wafts the smoke upstairs, and the upstairs freaking smoke detector starts going off. So we have to run upstairs with the dog blanket. Dog's jumping at my leg. It goes downhill from there, not gonna lie. When I come back from simmering the meat, turn the camera back on, I forget to turn the kitchen light off and forget to put these backlights on. So it now looks like crap. And it just goes off the rails, ends up with me doing a dance while putting pepper in. It was a learning experience. It's my first video. I kind of know where which direction I'm going to go in with this now, which if you want to learn more, I'll put it at the end of this video. But until then, I hope you have fun. Maybe you'll learn something. Don't follow the recipe in the video exactly with measurements because they're quite off. But here it is. Okay, so it's starting to get a little bit cooler. I feel like some soup, so I thought, why not make some Scotch broth? A Scottish recipe from where I'm from. So Scotch broth. I'm assuming we get some broth, freeze it, batter it, and deep fry it? No? It's got vegetables in it? Scottish people know what vegetables are? So Scotch broth is apparently a very hearty soup full of vegetables that you have in winter, which in Scotland is about 11 and a half months. I think with the Scottish diet of like black pudding, haggis, chocolates, iron brew, this seems to be the only source of vegetables that is available in Scotland. So let me show you how to make it. First off, we're going to need this. So we've got root vegetables. There's really no rules for Scotch broth. It's really just whatever's left over, whatever you've got, throw it in a soup. So there's no set recipe. You can make it vegetarian. I'm not. The original recipe, it calls for mutton, but I think, isn't mutton just like lamb that's past its use-by date? Not sure. So if you're going to make it vegetarian, you would use just root vegetables, split peas, and barley, and you'd probably use vegetable stock. I'm using chicken. And the vegetables I'm choosing to do, I've got 2 leeks, 2 carrots, 2 potatoes, 1 potato, 2 onions, and a turnip. Actually, I have some garlic, so let's throw garlic in it. Remember the rules. Whatever you got, throw it in. This isn't Italian cooking where there's strict rules, and I'm using chicken stock even though I'm cooking lamb. Whenever I use stock, I always use chicken. It is the best. And we're going with lamb shanks instead of mutton, because where the hell do you get mutton from? And they were only $6 each, so I got 4 instead of what I'd planned to do, get 2. And the reason I'm using lamb shanks is because it has a bone in it. And we're going to actually sear these off, then simmer them in the chicken stock. So all the flavor that comes from the lamb and the bone is going to go into that stock, which is going to be the base for the soup. First things first, this is an extra step. You don't have to do this. I just like to, I'm going to soak the barley and the split peas because they absorb water and liquid and will expand. And this is Scotch broth, so we want broth. I don't want them absorbing all the liquid. It's not meant to be a thick soup. So I'm going to get these absorbing some water so we can put them in. So I'm going to just do that now. Don't need to do it overnight. The lamb's going to simmer for about 2 hours. That's about enough time for these to soak. Or if you don't want to, just throw them in and put more liquid. I don't care, I'm not your mum. So in 250 grams of barley. Why? Because the bag's 500 grams, and then if I split it in half, I get to use it twice. Like I said, no rules with this recipe. Do whatever you want. Throw the whole bag in. Do 100 grams. And again, 500 gram bag. How much are we putting in? Boom, 250 grams. Then I'm going to fill this up with water, let it soak while we prep the veggies and simmer the lamb. So I've got our lamb shanks. They get bigger when you take them out of a vacuum sealed bag. That's all right, it's going to be very lamby. It's good, I guess. Now I've also preheated our big pan that can hold over 2 litres, which is important because we've got 2 litres of stock to put in that we need to simmer. If you want, you can just do this in the same pan that you're going to cook everything else in. But because I've got 4, I want a bigger surface area at the bottom to get more sear on them. And I'm assuming we're going to fill this up with oil and deep fry them. No? Are you sure this is a Scottish recipe? Nothing's been deep fried? Nope. Okay, cool. Let's get these in the pan. Alright, so we glug in some oil, throw these down and let them sear for about 5 minutes per side. Okay, so here's the thing. This is sizzling away. Alright, so here's the thing. I was going to put the stock straight into the frying pan, and then I realized I bought 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 lamb shanks. So now the stock's not going to fit. So I'm going to have to use the pot that I was going to put all the veggies in, and just do it in here instead. And then I will transfer it to a larger pot when I do the veggies, because we're going to end up making more than what I was expecting. Okay, so funny story. Because I'm filming, I shut the whole house up so that sound wouldn't get in. But then I was searing the lamb and the smoke alarms just went nuts. So my dog lost it. I turned the camera off and went to run to turn the smoke alarms off, but my microphone has a cord. So that went everywhere. Interesting. This is my first cooking video. There's going to be mistakes. Okay, so we're back on track. We've got the lamb shanks in the big pot. I deglazed the frying pan to get all the fond off the bottom, which is what we wanted, in the stock, and poured that in. So now all we have to do is make sure this is covered and simmer it for 2 hours. So I will see you then. So it's just been over an hour and a half. Lamb shanks have been simmering, and I'm going to start prepping everything else. So these things, what are these again? Vegetables, and we're not deep frying them? No. This has been deep fried. Are you sure this is a Scottish recipe? Alright, well, I'm going to chop these vegetables, and I'm not going to make you watch because that's boring as... And here we are, everything is chopped. I have also got the barley and split peas. They have been soaking for a little bit, so they're thicker, so you can drain them. Bonus, you wash them at the same time as you're soaking them. In this bowl, we have put all of our onion and garlic family. So we've got our 2 leeks, 2 onions, and I put 3 garlic cloves, which were mashed and chopped. And in here, everything else, all of our vegetables. So we are ready to go, and I have got out the big pot. So we're going to start cooking stuff in here. This preheating a little bit. I'm going to put in some olive oil, and also some butter. I'm not measuring it, that's what I got left, that's what's going in. Boom. So we're going to melt that butter down, and then we're going to put in our onion, leeks, and garlic. The garlic should give flavour to the butter and the oil. So we're going to cook it on low. We're going to cook this for about 15 minutes. This is just an additional step. You don't have to do it, but it's good to cook down the leeks. It caramelizes the onion, and it puts that garlic butter flavour through, which is something I actually learned from doing potato and leek soup. So bringing it over to this one. But if you're lazy, you don't want to, throw it all together, bung it in together. No one cares. All right, so the butter is melted. This is just on a medium-low heat. So now we will throw in our onion, leeks, and garlic, and also pinch of salt. Boom. Just going to mix that, toss it, and you want to try and coat all of it in the olive oil and butter. And then we're just going to wilt that down slowly for like the next 15-20 minutes, depending. We don't want to burn anything. And then we'll be good to go. It has now, however, been 2 hours. So what we are going to do is we are taking the lamb out and testing it, and it just falls off the bone. Look how clean that bone is. So we're just going to take the lamb off here, put it aside, discard the bones, ready for the lamb to go in at the end. Okay, so now the leek, onion, and garlic has been cooking for about 15 minutes. It's wilted down and it's gone soft. Now we have our lamb pulled off the bone and shredded. You don't really need to cut it up. When it goes in, it's going to get pulled, chopped, whatever. In this, don't worry about chopping it. Then we have our stock. If you need to, skim any fat off the top. If you actually do this the day before, you can put it in the fridge and this fat will go to the top and solidify, and then you can just break it off easy. Then we've got all of our veggies chopped and prepped and ready to go. We've got our split peas and barley, good to go as well. So now we've added all the veggies, a big pinch of salt, and now we're just going to mix this around for a little bit, just to get it started. We'll add in barley and split peas. So glad I've used the big stock pot. Like, there's a lot. This will wilt down, but it's still a lot, and I haven't added the meat or the stock yet. So now we've mixed the vegetables, we can go in with the liquid. Which, yeah, because we used so many ingredients, it barely covers it. We're probably going to have to add more liquid. Lucky we soaked the peas and barley. So I did decide to throw another ½ liter of water in there, because there is a lot of solids. So I really want that to be covered when it's cooking. And so we don't lose a lot of liquid, we are going to put a lid on it. And this can go for another ½ an hour. All right, so I've got about 10 minutes left to go. Let's shove the meat in. I have, in case you're wondering, I have stirred this. That's hot. I have stirred this a couple of times during the time. Speak English. Now I'm not going to touch that. Have a cloth with you. Bung it on. But also, now I need to stir it. This is what the cloth's for. Mmm, soupy deliciousness. Give it a stir. Bung the lid back on. It's hot. Careful. Right. So I just tested it by pricking potatoes with a fork. They're soft, means it's done. Also, halfway through, put in some bay leaves, because no one knows why. Why do you put bay leaves in freaking anything. I think a salesperson was like talking to their friend and went, bet you I can sell a whole tree worth of leaves. And he's like, but how? And he's like, I'm going to make people put it in their dinner for everything. And it's like, well, what's it for? And it's like, no one will ever know, but they're going to do it. And we have. So now there's bay leaves in there. Seems like garden trash. Hope it makes a difference. So all we need to do now is turn this off, test it for seasoning, which means salt, pepper, add it. You can't take it away. Add it. That's why I used salt reduced stock, because you want to control your salt use. Also, have you noticed I had lights at the start? Now I haven't. Forgot to put them on. First video doing a cooking show for YouTube. This is a mess. Absolute mess. Don't even know what the B-roll is going to be like. For those who don't know YouTube, B-roll is everything that's not this looking at me. All the other stuff looking. The lighting wasn't good for the first couple of videos. Wasn't the lights, it was the camera. Didn't even have it set properly. So anyway, let's check this out. Then, if you've got any suggestions, help for me, or things you want to see me attempt to cook, I've burnt myself. Set the freaking fire alarms are off. Video 1, going good. Just tried a wee bit. It's actually not bad. We've done well. I think the bay leaves have done their job. Put 2 in there, only got 1 out, so that's going to be a surprise for someone. Also, pepper. Put a bit more salt in. Needed it. Put pepper in. Pepper's brilliant. More pepper. It's up to here. There's a lot in there. It's going to take a lot of pepper. Get another stir. And we're ready to serve. Ladle. Big ass cauldron of soup. Bowl. Let's give it a whack. Need some broth. It is called Scotch broth after all. There we go. Let's see how the B-roll goes. That's with this thing. And this is what it looks like. Get that in you. One other thing you're going to need with this soup, very brothy, bread. Now, it's finished. Do we deep fry it now? No. When does the deep frying part come in? Is this a Scottish recipe or not? All right, well, if you like this recipe, what's wrong with you? It's not even a recipe. I didn't even do measurements. I'll put the ingredients down below and then all the mistakes I made, because this is a lot. Which is fine. If I just got more stock, added 500 ml more water, maybe make more stock. I also done too much meat. I could probably fix this. This is the first video. But it's good, and that's the main thing. Shut up. Okay, so why did I randomly one day just start a YouTube channel for food? Not actually random. I had planned, I actually made this channel about 3 years ago in 2020, 2021. You know, when we're all not allowed to go out because of the thing that made us not allowed to go out. So I was working from home and I would just watch about 8 to 10 hours of YouTube cooking videos every day. It was obsessive. I'd find a recipe. I would then go down a rabbit hole just Monday to Friday, finding every YouTube channel that cooked this recipe, just trying to find a way that I could cook it, the easiest way to cook it. Then on the weekend, buy the ingredients and give it a shot. And I found that a lot of recipes that I thought were difficult were easier than I thought, or you could make them easier, and a lot of them were really good. So when I find things like that, I want to tell my friends. So I started posting on Instagram. Had no idea about how to do videos. I just done pictures and a few comments trying to teach people how to do it. And then I got a lot of people asking to do videos so they can make it themselves. But I had no idea what I was doing with videos. I tried to make a couple and they were horrendous. But then I got this camera. I learned how to use CapCut, which really was the biggest hindrance of me actually trying to do any videos a few years ago, is editing. I didn't want to spend $300 on editing software. CapCut has been amazing, and it's so easy, so I can do crap like this. So yeah, random spur of the moment, let's just create a whole bloody YouTube channel. Happened. It's not great, as you've just seen if you've watched this video. There were some mishaps, but I've learned more just turning the camera on and just going for it than I would have any other way. So now I can actually pick recipes that I've actually done before. I'm not going to script them. That was way more fun without a script. Let's just pick a recipe that I know, have a couple of points that I want to cover in the recipe to make sure we don't completely stuff it. I mean, the goal is to teach people how to cook something. I'm not a chef. I haven't been a cook. I've never done anything. So I figure if I can do it, other people can. I watch a lot of YouTube channels, and a lot of these people used to be chefs, and so something they might think is super easy, it's really not for us, and we need practice. So I'm trying to take all this information that all these experts have and kind of make it so that we can all do it. Because cooking is fun. I'm not going to script it. It could go the way it did, but I think that's the fun of it. So let's see where we go from here.